It's not
Hey.
Renekton jungle, nice. Phew.
What do you mean nice? I wanted to see the Renekton jungle. That would have been amazing to witness.
Actually, yes. I mean, remember like VCS Winter Split end of 2021, where we had like, I mean,
Yeah.
this can't be Yasuo jungle right for DNK, and then it was Yasuo jungle, and then he actually hard carried the game or something.
I think he hard carried, but they still lost. It was something really ridiculous. Because I think that was the day where we had two Yasuos, and one Yasuo went 0 and 9, and then I think it was DNK who just popped off on Yasuo or something stupid.
We went like 5-0 in the early game and something, and then we were like seeing the draft, and it was like, which champion can even jungle? It was like, it surely must be the Gragas, right? And then it wasn't even the Gragas. Either way, game is underway, and we see Team Flash on the red side, GAM on the blue side this time, and it is actually Cyan for Kiaya, Sejuani in the jungle, so on their side. Also, despite me theory crafting about Renekton playing against Sejuani top lane, Renekton against Cyan is also not that much of a snowbally lane, so Team Flash really needs to outplay GAM in the first 10 minutes of the game, in my opinion, to really get the foothold of the situation.
Jane and Carty having a very brief trade. Carty with that first strike, just getting a little bit of extra gold their way to start off the lane. But as I mentioned in Game 1, I do want to bring it up here in Game 2. I'm really looking towards Yoshino against Kiaya. Yes, I know it's a Cyan, it's going to be boring, but let's not forget these are the two most veteran top laners in the league, right? That they are the two most experienced. They're arguably two of the best as the dredge line comes through in the bottom lane by Sora, but nothing really comes of it.
Yeah, that's kind of awkward, right? The dredge line is hitting it. They still are not really confident enough to really go into it, despite playing at an enchanter lane and hitting the engage support. So I'm really questioning why they really go for this Aphelios Nautilus bottom lane. I mean, they banned 3 AD carries on their own. If you count Ashe as an ADC, right now you could kind of argue that she's more of a support and less of an ADC. And for the Caitlyn, not everyone is carrier, but she's also played in both roles equal amounts, I would say. And I would like to Thresh much more because it would just provide offensive and defensive utility. And the Nautilus is more like one way in, and then he basically did his job. And so far, it's looking good for the Zeridulo lane. Gotta say though, that was also the case against Lucian Nami last game, played by the other bot lane. And Zeridulo still able, after those 3 levels, to really lose the matchup.
Does Yoshino dive this onto Kiaya? I feel like this is the dive angle for the Renekton. Decimating Smash will get charged up. Just chips Yoshino a little bit down, and Yoshino won't go in for the traders in the mid lane card. He's just starting to bully Jane a little bit with this Azir early game harassment.
Yeah, early game harassment coming out. Jay's not really finding a foothold here, but here we see a 2v2 potentially of mid lane and jungle. First of all, Fuquan having good trades, but Levi now with the Permafrost being there, and the Shock Blast tells him to, just get lost and go for a different play.
Carty is here, so is Zin. Over the wall goes Carty. Fuquan will flash away, and the barrel will get the slow onto the Azir to allow Fuquan to escape. And Carty will take this as an opportunity to reset and presumably teleport back into lane.
That was a very awkward roam plus flash by the setup. Then he just flashed forward on Lulu to land the glitter lands and didn't end up doing so. And it was, I think, sidestep by the side of Fuquan. Overall, though, just flash of flash being traded, Fuquan not having his. And Yoshino might just solo kill Kiaya here.
Yeah, Kiaya doesn't land the decimating smash, and Yoshino able to pick up first blood on the Angry Crocodile. And this time Yoshino gets the better of Kiaya, although Angry Zombie Cyan almost able to get on top of Yoshino, but just not enough movement speed at the end.
And that's like one way to really still control this game on of Team Flash. Just hand stiff then, just have Flash Yoshino, the star player of the team, just getting the 1v1 solo kill and snowball the game off of there. He just now also completed his Iron Spike whip, which is also just a little mini spell on top of him to make more of this matchup. And here we see how it really played out. Yeah, just E behind the already charging up Q from Kiaya. Kiaya not really respecting that Yoshino would go for this play. Both top players also keeping their flash. Kiaya would know that Yoshino could just flash after him and then get the solo kill either way. Maybe close to utility would then make it 1-for-1, but Kiaya not ready to go for this one. As this, but now just propels Team Flash to a good early lead. But we gotta say, they need this one.
Now, how much can Yoshino snowball this advantage? Now that he does have one, has the Iron Spike whip against Kiaya, and will presumably wait until level 6. We do have our first Drake of the game on the map, and it is the Chemtech Drake. And currently, bot lane is relatively even, so neither side has a huge amount of priority over the objective.
Yeah, they certainly don't. As here Yoshino is still really clapping Kiaya. That's also very awkward wave state for Kiai, I gotta say. Yoshino can kind of freeze it a little bit on, and here in this extended trades can just really fight him. Also level 6 against level 5 right now, but Jane might be in trouble, but I think Jane gets out there. And speaking of which, the Drake control now kind of shifting to the side of Team Flash, their bot lane, moving first, Style still pushing up the bot lane, and this might just instigate Team Flash to start a move over there in the mid lane.
Yoshino still has his ultimate available, the Dominus, and Kiai is being chunked down ever so slightly lower and lower. Drake is up, as mentioned before, and GAM are starting to get priority around it. Style had a couple of seconds really to shove in the bottom wave, which Pudding is now collecting, and GAM using this opportunity to try to rush down the Drake.
Yeah, but now Flash also ready for it. At least they try to get like some summoner spells or just a fight right here.
Dredgeline lands onto the Sejuani. Emperor's Divide comes through, pushes Jane away. Levi just about surviving, flashes over the wall, but Zin is left with nowhere to go. Pudding will be able to pick up the first kill of the game, and it is 2 kills going the way of Team Flash.
Actually, it was the second kill, as we had the solo kill earlier. Either way, it was just Zin being traded for the Drake, and I think GAM is very okay with that. The flashless support, just like as Yoshino does it again! It's just top difference.
The solo bolos are coming in, and Yoshino is exerting his authority on Kiai.
Here we see a replay of the situation we had earlier. GAM going for this Drake as Kati kind of face checks into Fukwande, who was kind of expected to be a one, but now Kati not really being done with this, just goes for the Emperor's Divide. Levi just barely flashing out after securing the Drake, but Zin is a sacrificial lamb for this play. GAM very okay with it, as I mentioned before. And we see Flash overall still more than 1k gold up, but they lost the Drake. And with them being the team that we expect to having to snowball here, this might just not be enough, and we just need to wait and see how they play out the next 10 minutes. They need to have a significant goal lead to really break open the game. If with GAM during this Drake, they already got their first stronghold in the game and win 5 minutes to really scale into this.
3-0 then for Flash, and let's not forget this is relatively similar to what we saw in Game 1. Flash getting a relatively comfortable lead. However, I'm trying to remember, Game 1, did Flash get the first Drake or was it GAM?
Flash got the first Drake and then GAM got the second, when Flash was still very much ahead, and then it was the deliberate choice to get for the mid-21 push. It's either way, here we see the replay again of the second solo kill from Yoshino against Kiaya, and I think this matchup is kind of fine for Cyan into the Drake then. Turns out maybe it kind of isn't, as Kiaya is not really respecting Yoshino enough, and Yoshino just now on his own, he didn't get ganks, by the way. He's up full 2 waves and also 2 kills on the side of Kiaya, and a full leveler as well. So this Renekton definitely showing up so far.
Very good dredge line from Soros. Flash look for the pick onto Levi. Kati hovering around, does have that Empress Divide available. Kiaya on the other side of the fight. Pudding, though, showing up now, and we would have a full 5v5 fight if one was to break out. Rift Herald is the objective for both teams, and it is Team Flash with control of the top side river.
And I think GAM could just give up this Drake, this Herald, so to say, as they don't really need to do much in these first few minutes. Just need to scale next to them. And in these early skirmishes, with the Renekton being so strong, you don't want to give him any more kills and risk that he would take over the game on his own. He's currently sitting close to his first item power spike to really finish the God Wink on his side, as Kiaya is just struggling to really get anything. He's on the Bami Cinder. Some cloth armors to really deny some damage coming out for the side of Yoshino, as Team Flash secures this Rift Herald. GAM not ready to fight this, and they smartly, wisely, in my opinion, give it up and just let Team Flash at least play the first few minutes out. We just now also saw Kiaya screaming cowards, just using his ultimate to catch this wave up in the top lane and at least secure some farm for himself.
So my question to you now, Quincy, is Fuquan has the Rift Herald. Where do Flash want to place it? As we have a play in the mid lane, so we'll go back to that point now because the player's ended.
I think they could just play it for top lane, just play to your strong points right now and just give any resource into Yoshino so he can take over the game, just be the backline diver to really destroy style in his team fights. Also, Renekton with his empowered W with the Ruthless Predator could break any shield that Zeri has, and Zeri is known to have this huge ass shield for the side of any ADC, and that's something you really want to break quickly, as Zeri in general is one of the more immortal ADCs that you cannot really die with or just kill quickly, and Renekton makes it a little bit easier, especially if he's well fed threat in the game, and so far Yoshino clearly is.
Yoshino still waiting to complete his first item, and once we do get to those mid-game skirmishes where Yoshino is present, if Yoshino can get onto the back line, he's absolutely going to decimate Style, Zin, or Kati, whichever of the three he can get on top of. I mean, he's already having a little bit of fun with Kiaya, and Kiaya is the tank, so...
Yeah, but what worries me is that he cannot really break open this matchup on his lonesome for now. Just now we, however, see Kiaya using half his HP, but this is supposed to be a tank, by the way. He can still keep up in CS, and Sign, we know he's also working kind of decently, even if he wouldn't get resources. Is the reaction just enough to really break open the game is what we need to see. There's 3 minutes left to get more plating money, at least for the side of Yoshino, and after that it would just be an easy turret break if there's any attention being put towards this reaction. And what Team Flash can of course do with the Drake now spawning, use the Herald as a distraction and force GAM to either defend the Herald or contest the Drake. They likely can't do both. Right now they are going towards this Drake, and with GAM not reacting to it right now, they can maybe even get both. Just get this Drake and then do a good Herald push. But GAM is looking to go into position.
Well, we've seen smite fights before between Fukwon and Levi as Style goes over the wall, gets hit by the depth charge, and now GAM are the ones with slight control. Moonlight Vigil comes out, and that's already one kill.
Oh, Kati!
The way of GAM Wild Growth on it to Levi. Kati, though, still alive, looking towards Sora as Jane and Pudding just can't get into the fight on the blast cone. Pudding forced away, and all of GAM stay alive, and it is 2 kills going the way of GAM as Flash don't pick up a single kill.
And this time Flash being the team that gets the Drake, but gets to sacrifice some members, and it's 2 this time for the side of GAM that they get to pick up with a huge Empress divide coming off the side of Kati. Here we see again how it really plays out. First of all, it was Style getting hit, but also tanking the dredge line and the death charge from the side of Sora. The Drake gets flipped and it goes over to the side of Team Flash this time, luckily, but here Kati, huge Shurian shuffle, 3 members in, and yeah, it's just Style getting to keep hitting here because, as you see from Nautilus, has been burnt beforehand. So it's 2 kills for the side of the Drake. I think GAM can live with that.
Well, GAM are going to have to live with a Rift Herald being placed in the bottom lane, which is going to be some plates going the way of Pudding. Still
Jane
1
solo
minute.
killed Kati.
Oh. So it would seem. Yes. Good spot. I don't know what happened there. I'm guessing just, yeah, solo kill things.
Yeah, just something that the observers do not want to show us, as this is a huge W for the side of Flash, actually. I mean, they get 2 platings in the bot lane, also 1 solo kill in the mid lane. So, at the end of the day, we have seen how top lane works. It's still potentially Flash firing on all the cylinders, basically, and GAM not really stabilizing anywhere. But we just now saw a little bit of a taste for the side of GAM's 35 ability. They still look good in those ones, especially with Kati landing good Shurima shuffles. And despite them losing the Drake, they still can play these team fights out well. Platings are about to time out, and GAM still want to have some nice little chips of money for the side, as they at least get 1 more plating in the bot lane. And here we see probably how Kati died. I mean, he used his flash in the team fight beforehand, and now here he doesn't have it for the defense. Oh, Jane gets a kill here and gets out. How does he play this? Kati just sails around greedily or what?
Oh, no. Oh, wait, we're not going to find out because in the bottom lane, Style is getting run down. The Wild Growth not enough to keep him alive. And in the end, Zin will be the member who survives of the bottom lane duo.
Yeah, they just get another pick towards Style. And I gotta say, overall, despite me not being happy with the draft this time for Team Flash, they still play kind of decently, right? I mean, both mechanically and macro, right? There's a lot of good showings for them. Especially with this team being new again into the VCS. It's definitely something we want to see more of, and them just now breaking this outer turret line means they can maybe still snowball this game. It's 2000 gold that they are up on GAM right now. GAM showing good teamfight prowess we have seen, but overall it's still Team Flash, yeah, making decent showings and showing that they are one of those teams that can maybe challenge the top teams this time.
And that's first tower as well for the side of Team Flash going into Jane's pocket, so some extra gold for this Jace, and this mid-game, we cannot underestimate how strong this mid-game is. Aphelios, Jace, Renekton, even Fukwon on this Gragas, that's going to be the real tough time for GAM, and if they can make it through that mid-game and get to the point where Kati and Style start to scale and Levi and Kiaya can be those front lines, they should be fine, but it is the next 10-15 minutes that is the real difficult point for the side of GAM.
And I want to draw your eyes a little bit more towards Soba on this Nautilus. Last game on the Lulu, he had this 1 clutch flash shield play in the early game where he prevented first blood from GAM and enabled first blood to the side of Team Flash. But after that, no really highlight plays coming out of the side of Sour in this game on the Natus. He is on the playmaking champions. If he lands good hooks, if he just goes for good death charges, this might just be what really brings it back into the favor, or overall more into the favor of Team Flash to break open this mid game and just now bite when they are strong and really catch GAM off guard to some extent and really force a game free here.
And it's one of the good things about having a Nautilus when you're playing against this composition of GAM. You've got that point and click depth charge, that free CC onto someone like Style and Kati, who are very mobile. And if you can get that CC off, it becomes a little bit easier for the likes of Yoshino, Jane to be able to follow up, Fook1 to be able to land an explosive cask and then deliver Style to the rest of the team. Another tower being picked up, this time by the side of GAM Kati in the bottom lane.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, those auto turrets not really standing strong after the 40-minute mark we invested earlier. The plating's going down. Some money into the back of Kati, especially on the Azir, who has looked okay, I would say, overall. I don't want to say he looked good, because, I mean, earlier we saw him greeding for a wave and then just dying to a shock blast randomly, where, yeah, GAM definitely expected to get more out of it. He's going for the Crown of the Shattered Queen Azir build, so he's, well, kind of inclined to play this fight safe, as he can tank some initial damage before the shield wears off with the damage reduction, and this just makes it easier for him to just really dive in, get the shuffle out, and still survive for like at least 1 or 2 seconds to get some good DPS going on.
I would also like to say we didn't actually see him greed because the replay ended before we got to see.
Yeah.
So we are assuming, we don't actually know what happened in the grand fable that was Kati's demise. We do have a Drake up on the map now, and GAM just trying to get some priority in the mid lane before making their way into the river. But look at Yoshino looking for this flank.
Yoshino's looking for the flank, and he's not on the torpedo reaction item build. He's not this lethality choice where he just goes Prowler's Clone to play with the Rune King to really like one-shot these targets and then just die himself. He is the God Winker, so he takes a bit more time to kill, but also to be killed, as the Hillfield charge comes out.
Line lands, Wild Growth comes through, Fook1 is already taken down, Decimating Smash won't land onto anyone, flash forward from Levi, Moonlight Vigil lands onto 2, and Pudding finds big damage, Emperor's Divide comes through,
Yoshino?
able to deliver Sora into Style, Style's still alive, but look at Pudding, he's just firing out and being untouched, not able though to get a kill onto Kati or Kiaya, and it is 2 kills for 1, GAM coming out on top of the health bars in favor of Team Flash, and they're going to make their way over to the Drake pit to claim their prize.
And this should be their Drake, because otherwise it would just be a huge W for the side of GAM yet again. But Yoshino on this Renekton just looked unkillable. It looked like he was the tank and not Kiaya on the side, I gotta say. And he's still like such a good damage threat. Put in also with a huge Moonlight Vigil, and then him being able to fire off more shots. 2 for 1 for the side of GAM, but they will lose this Drake, so it will be the second Drake to the side of Team Flash. You will see how they played out. With Terror Charge gets through. GAM wants to prevent anything further from happening. Lightning Crash comes out, and they easily clean up the side of Kiaya here on the side of Team Flash. Emperor's Divide comes out. Yoshino finds good backline access, can just zone the entire team basically of GAM, as 2 members from the side of Team Flash have fallen. And GAM actually Kiaya wasn't the one dying. I gotta correct myself there. It was Levi on the Sejuani. So this at the end of the day, 2 for 1 for the side of Team GAM, and the Drake just being their consolation prize. Holy shit, that damage from the side of Aphelios. It's just another world, right?
The thing is, in that fight, it didn't even look to me visibly like Pudding did a lot of damage. It looked like a big Moonlight Vigil, but I thought it was Yoshino who did most of the work. So
yes. I was surprised. Kiaya did more damage than Yoshino, like almost twice as much. Yeah.
To be fair, Yoshino arrived really late to the fight, and I think that's one thing that really helped GAM out in the fight. The fact that about 3/4 of it went before Yoshino got to do any damage.
That definitely must have played a part there, but I would almost say like a few seconds of Dominus while standing in 3 members would just be more than 800 damage. Either way, I don't think the numbers are lying to me. I'm just saying that we might just be a little bit surprised by those numbers.
The numbers never lie.
Yeah, stats don't lie.
I think also when Yoshino got into the fight, as soon as he used the Dominus, that's when Kati used the Emperor's Divide and pushed Yoshino away. If that Emperor's Divide doesn't come through, I think Yoshino absolutely decimates the side of GAM. But that's not what happened, and we have a 1.5k goal lead for the side of Team Flash as we approach the 20-minute mark. That means Baron is going to be spawning. Pudding is on 2 items. Will probably be looking for that Infinity Edge for his next item now that he has got the Lord Dominic's regards and a little bit of extra armor penetration for the likes of Sion and Sejuani, who are starting to tank up the armor.
Definitely, and Dominic's regard is one of the best, if not the best, DPS item for ADCs. And even with the change light, you can now go Infinity Edge second and Navoya Quick Blade second, but you don't have to, right? You can still just go this item and just be able to shred those heavy HP sticking front lines like the Sign, like the Sejuani. So he's going, I think, Berserker's Greaves now and then completes Infinity Edge for his third item to really have this insane free item power spike as an AD carry. But right now, I think what kind of worries me is the following thing. Team Flash always gets like small wins, right? Like getting a pick there, getting a turret there, getting this Drake earlier, even after the somehow lost fights in the numbers. But they don't really extend their gold lead by much. It's like a bit more than 1,000 by now, but it has been like a bit more than 1,000 for 10 minutes. And now we are looking closer to this mid game with Baron is on the table and GAM also. Their carries are on 2 items, and with that they would be scaling better. So GAM, they look more comfortable as each minute passes.
That's getting slowly but surely coming their way. Let's not forget Yoshino and Jane still a very big dredge line comes through. Levi forced to Arctic Assault defensively and out to safety as Pudding is just shoving in this mid wave. And Team Flash starting to consider going for a Baron play. All the while Yoshino just split pushing in the bottom lane.
Yoshino just in game 1 going for the split push. This game on the Renekton, last game on the Fiora. This game, however, it's a bit easier to really execute, I would say, for the side of Team Flash, as Renekton can be both a menace in the split push and in the 5v5. We have seen the last fight where he was zoning the whole team. That's something that's not that unusual for him, as he just now completed his death stance, so he can easily just tanks up some more damage, and as long as Flash is getting any takedowns with him being a part of it, he will just not even go down to the bleed damage at all. So it's like one gimmick that this Renekton can really do in this mid game. But this damage item build is also something that can fall off really hard if it goes to like 4 or 5 items. Gotta say though, Team Flash don't want to go for this anyway. Like they want to either get a quick Drake soul stack win condition or go for an early Baron for the fight over there, and then just break open the game before GAM can really fully scale towards the late game. And in the late game, I think Team Flash know that they would already have lost.
And the issue for Team Flash right now is that GAM have all of their inner towers still standing and very healthy, so even if they win a fight, it's going to take a lot of effort to be able to break the base open, if they can even do that. Kiaya spotting out Sora in the river brush, who will take a dredge line out to safety, and it seems that for the side of Team Flash, they're waiting for this Infernal Drake, which I believe would be their 3rd Drake of the game, as in the top lane, Jane able to pick up the final outer tower for Team Flash.
He didn't need to do that, and right now, both mid laners are staring each other down in the top lane. No turrets there to safety, so it could just be a solo kill either way, depending on who really gets the first engage in this regard. But right now, the 4-man squads are facing each other in the mid lane, doing a little bit of an ARAM right there, as the Drake is spawning a second later, as we just now see it. And Team Flash should be favored for this one again, right? They are still on their mid game power spike, they are 2k gold up, and GAM, without them finding an angle, it should just be their fight, but GAM can also just give away this Drake, but it would just be soul point for Team Flash, not soul, but here's
fight coming through, and that is the Glacial Prison instantly on it to Fook 1. Yoshino has already been chunked down low. Same can be said for Kiaya, who's kept alive by the wild growth. And now the top laners are going to reset, presumably will teleport back in to the party. But Pudding is going to stop Kiaya from getting that reset off. Gale forces forward, but just does not have enough damage to chunk this Scion down, and GAM will now be starting on the Drake.
Yoshino?
There is a big one. Yoshino over the wall, forces Style out of the pit. Levi is going to be forced to flash away. Now the teleport is coming through from Kiaya. Look how low Sora is. He's going to be completely irrelevant in this fight now, and Style and Levi back onto the Drake will be burning it down. They secure the Drake, their 2nd of the game. And Yoshino still looking for this flank. Explosive Cask will lock Kiaya down in place, but Yoshino just cannot find that flank angle.
Yoshino found it initially, but he then just got knocked out of his backline access for the side of GAM. And GAM really played it smartly. They just go for a little bit of a fake engage, basically. Just burn the ultimate from Yoshino, but also the one from Kiaya. Kiaya gets chunked down low, gets to reset also in his young greediness. Puddin was trying to kill him with the offensive Gale Force usage, but didn't quite manage to do so, as a Sign was still too tanky for that one. So Kiaya got to reset, got to rejoin with his teleport, so it's effectively, HP bar wise, a 5v4 for the side of GAM, and with Yoshino being dissuaded to engage the backline, it was just easy enough for the side of GAM to secure this Drake and stabilize a little bit more, win 5 more minutes to scale into this game, and deny soul point from Team Flash.
And that's really important, the fact that it gives GAM another 5 minutes to scale. Although, as this game is starting to feel maybe GAM have already found themselves in control of the game. Levi going to remove this blast cone as GAM rushing down the Baron. Last game, it was the side of GAM who stole the Baron away from Team Flash. Maybe this time it's going to be the other way around, but never mind. GAM look for the turn. They are looking towards Yoshino. Surely he can find some way out. Dredge line lands. Moonlight Vigil comes through. Levi chunked down very low. Empress Divide doesn't land onto anyone. And Levi has already fallen. Star, though, pretty much free hitting everyone. Still incredibly healthy. Dredge line lands. But Star just instantly the Nautilus. Explosive cast comes through. It's a double kill of 4-star, Pudding and Jane still alive. Yoshino is polymorphed. He just can't find the kill on his Style, can't find the kill on his Zin. So close for Team Flash to turning the fight around. But in the end, GAM win 3 kills to 2.
And Style just putting on the clinic on this area, just finding 2 kills, almost gets taken down by Yoshino. But for me, the hidden MVP of this fight was this little man. Not Kati, but the Sand Soldier from Azir. First, he kills off Yoshino before he can kill off Style, and just right now, he also killed the enemy ADC. So double kill for Sand Soldier boy on the side of GAM. And here we see the fight again. Yoshino gets forced into domino, so he just doesn't die to the 5-man squad of GAM. Then Moonlight Vigil coming out, dealing a good chunk. The Empress Divide not really hitting anyone, but what it at least does is create an awkward corridor for the side of Team Flash, where they can't really hard engage on towards GAM, which is something that they would have maybe liked to do so, as Style gets to pick up his first 2 kills. Yoshino tries to go for the Hail Mary and take down Style, but yeah, Sand Soldier is so B. Sand Soldier just take them down, and later on, with the greedy recall being catched from Pudding, Kati can also kill him. So right now, GAM only down 500 gold, they are scaling, and now can take out the Baron.
And we get a pause. Right as we reach almost the climax, it says that Fook 1 disconnected or something. So I'm guessing that's what the issue is for Team Flash. But once again, both teams are going to play their little dance around the Baron pit. And this game is getting very tense. But as you've been alluding to over the course of this game, the longer this game goes, the better it's getting for GAM. And we can see every fight is starting to look like GAM are a little bit closer. Although, with that being said, that last fight, if Yoshino doesn't get polymorphed, it could be entirely different.
Yeah, Yoshino still is definitely a threat to handle, and they kind of made the problem for themselves, right? Kiaya getting solo killed not once but twice by Yoshino, and Yoshino definitely fighting those engages. Overall, I think GAM know that they have to respect him. I mean, they also play these fights like this where they basically burn every ability just to get Yoshino out. As soon as Yoshino even looks at the backline, he's already having a Sand Soldier on top of him, and Style just already clicking his dash defensively, and they kind of get to kite him out. Even in those standoffs, they just focus everything on him to get this dominance out as quick as possible. And this they kind of could handle the Crocodile until now, but there's still like, even if GAM outscaled them and already maybe has outscaled them, there's like this distant fear that they just get brutalized by the Renekton. If he just finds one good engage on him, just flash auto W onto the AD carry, and maybe he gets the kill over there. But so far that hasn't happened, and Flash still has a chance to win this game. But here, as we got into the game, Yoshino's down.
Yoshino is... I don't know if there's a Baron, but Team Flash are turning this around at the red buff, and it's going to be 2 kills going the way of Flash. Style is not part of this fight. It's a double kill for Jane. So overall, it's a 2 for 2. There is no Baron, but I don't...
Baron.
GAM did get the Baron buff. Okay.
Yeah, we can see in the top right corner, there's a Baron power play counter for the side of GAM, so they actually are 2k ahead from this Baron alone, and overall stabilize the game, right? 2 for 2 is a trade I think they could live with. I think with them having the Baron and they now being in control of it, you will see the replay again, how it happened. GAM was washing on the Baron. Are they going for some flippy plays? What I wonder. Schumacher comes out, kind of just is a bit of a distraction. Yoshino can almost kill him, but not quite. At least forces out the flash from him, and he just shields himself again. This is a happy little Lulu, and here, yeah, Soa's re-engaged, not really respected. I don't know why they are still around this area on the side of GAM. This really doesn't have to happen, but I mean, at least 2 for 2. They got the Baron. At the end of the day, a win for them. It could have been more, but a win is a win.
And I also just saw an item being picked up for Kiaya. Jack showed the Proton coming out. I would have expected Heartsteel, but I don't really know what the build is for Sign. You are the resident top lane expert though, Quincy.
I think you can go Heartsteel. It's very, very fun because you stack infinite HP anyway, and Heartsteel just really plays into it by stacking more of those HP numbers, and it kind of synergizes with the W. But that's the thing, like, ideally to be as tanky as possible, having the highest effective HP, you want both HP and resistances, and he already gets HP for free anyway. So you just build a very good resistance item to have like the best of both worlds. That's why Jakshu is really good. Like super late game, Hatsil would be better, but in a realistic scenario, like a 30-40 minute game, you would prefer the Jakshu.
Okay. Well, GAM are looking to pick up the inner tower in the mid lane. They've already taken the outer tower, and Jane just can't really find those shock blasts to chip away at these minion waves. Infernal Drake up. This is going to be GAM finding their third Drake of the game. Flash just have 2. Same for GAM right now, but it seems that there is no real way for Flash to enter into this river. And this is against a Baron buffed GAM. I think Flash want to take this fight regardless. Dredgeline is going to land on it to Levi. Zin has already been chunked down low, but the Drake has been secured. Kiai trying to buy as much time as possible as Jane shoved away by the Emperor's Divide. Dredgeline comes through, but poof goes Pudding. And GAM just take the fight. It's 3 kills for Style, 4 kills for GAM. Fook won on the run, but he cannot run from the Azir. Surely not. Flash forward, and that's the ace for GAM, and that might very well be game.
That might just be the game. They just get the full ace, get the Drake as well. Now can just go on. They still have the Baron buff for some seconds, so can they... Yeah, they just know it time's out, but either way, TP onto the mid wave to really secure this one. They win the fight. It was a little bit worried for them for a short second, as the one-dimension competition of Team Flash found a decent engage, but Kati was ready with his Emperor's Divide to really put the divide line, put like the scrimmage line to prevent Flash from really hitting too much. And Style just popped off with the lightning crash, wins the team fight for them and wins the game for them. Flash having a better strong than we expected, but at the end of the day, GAM reigns supreme and gets it 2-0.
And that is exactly how GAM will be wanting to start their 2023